Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to tell you guys about the most iconic BMW engines ever made. We are going to be talking about a lot of straight-six engine and the most powerful Formula 1 engine ever. Number 6 on the list, we have the S54 engine from the E46 M3. It is a dual-overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, naturally aspirated inline-six. It makes about 333 horsepower at 7,900 RPMs and 269 pound-feet of torque at 4,900 RPM. A lot of people know this engine from the E46 M3, however, it is also found in the C4M, C3M, and Weissman MF3. This is the last naturally aspirated straight-six engine for the M3. For later generation, which was an E9X generation, they put the V8, and current M3s are powered by the turbocharged straight-six engines. The E46 M3s are going up in value because it is the last M3 with a naturally aspirated straight-six engine. Although the engine isn't very powerful compared to modern standards, it was really impressive when it came out. And the sounds they make is really good. Number 5 on the list, we have the S62 engine from the E39 M5. It is a dual-overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, naturally aspirated 5-liter V8, which makes 400 horsepower at 6,600 RPM and 369 pound-feet of torque at 3,800 RPM. It features double valves and independent throttle bodies. This is the first naturally aspirated M-series V8 engine. You can find this engine in the legendary E39 M5, BMW Z8, and the Ascari KC1. This is also the first and last naturally aspirated V8 engine for the BMW M5. This is also a really solid engine. I'm not saying it is a cheap engine to own because the maintenance are really expensive. However, if you know how to maintain a vehicle with this engine, it can be very rewarding because the engines can go past 250,000 miles easily. I have seen a lot of E39 M5 with 400,000 miles in the original motor and the transmission, so I would say they are really solid. Number 4 on the list, we have the S14 engine. It is a 2.3-liter dual-overhead cam inline-four, 4 valves per cylinder, obviously naturally aspirated. It makes anywhere from 190 horsepower to 235 horsepower. Also, it makes 155 to 181 pound-feet of torque. It can rev all the way up to 7,000 RPM. This is the only 4-cylinder M-series engine and probably the least powerful one as well. However, this is also the most successful racing engine ever made. This is the engine from the E30 M3, the world's most successful racing car. It has won over 1,400 races all total. BMW has great reputation making inline-six engine. However, 4-cylinder engine is where everything started for them. The BMW headquarters in Munich, Germany was built to resemble the shape of a 4-cylinder engine. The S14 used the block from the M10 and the head from the M88, which make it the perfect racing engine and very desirable. However, if you live in Portugal or Italy at that time, you only got the 2-liter version of the M3 because at that time, in those countries, if you have a vehicle with over 2 liters of displacement, you have to pay taxes. So if you have the Evo 3 version of the M3, which is the most powerful one, you can have up to 255 horsepower. It's actually very impressive considering it is only a 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine from the 80s. On the list we have the M88. This is the first ever M series engine, and it is my favorite engine of all time. It is a 3.5 liter dual overhead cam 4 valves per cylinder naturally aspirated inline-six. It features camshafts driven by a single roll timing chain, independent throttle bodies, and Bosch mechanical fuel injection system. The engine is based on the M49 engine from the iconic E9 CSL, which won the 24 Hours of Le Mans back in 1976. This is also the power plant of the first ever M-division car, the BMW E26 M1. BMW also put this engine in E24 M6, 635 CSI, E28 M5, and the E23 745i for the African market. It makes about 286 horsepower in the M5 and 272 horsepower in the M1, which might not sound a lot bad. Back then, the BMW E28 M5, which was only a family car, has more horsepower than a Ferrari Testarossa. The racing version of this engine can make all the way up to 900 horsepower. Way back in 1970s, BMW wanted to build a race car to compete in the Group 5 race series. Their main goal was to build the mid-engine race car which can rival the Porsche. So they teamed up with Lamborghini. However, the company went bankrupt, so BMW had to take the project back from the Italians. It took them about 10 years to finish, and when they finally finished it, the regulation from the race series were changed and cancelled. So they made their own Pro Car series, which feature the most badass Formula 1 drivers driving in the 850 horsepower BMW M1s before the start of every F1 race. BMW only made about 450 of them all total. There are only 399 road legal versions of the M1s out there. The price can be anywhere from $300,000 to $1 million. Number 2 on the list we have the S70 V12. This is the engine from the legendary McLaren F1, which won the 24 Hours of Le Mans on first try back in 1995. The F1 is powered by a naturally aspirated BMW 6-liter V12. It makes 618 horsepower and 586 pound-feet of torque, and it revs all the way up to 7,500 RPMs. A lot of enthusiasts claim the F1 is the best car ever made. However, one thing for sure is that it really is the greatest supercar of all time. It has a top speed of 240 miles per hour and can go to 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. It was made in 1995. It was the fastest production car for more than 10 years, and it still is the fastest naturally aspirated car ever made. The F1 really is an automotive engineering achievement and the wet dream for every car enthusiast. Only 106 of them were ever built, and the current value can be anywhere from $14 to $20 million. Finally, the most iconic BMW engine, and the place go to the M12 engine. This is the smallest engine on this list, however, it is the most powerful engine in Formula 1 history ever. BMW M12 is based on the M10 engine found in the BMW 2002 and 1600. The M10 engine only make around 80 horsepower when it was introduced way back in 1961. However, BMW created something extraordinary in 1982. BMW provided engine for the Brabham F1 teams in the 80s. According to the F1 limitation, the engine can't be no more than 3 liters of displacement or 1.5 liters if it used forced induction such as turbochargers or superchargers. BMW saw the potential of turbochargers, so they went with the 1.5 liter limitation. In 1983, Nelson Piquet won the F1 Driver Championship driving the Brabham, powered by the BMW M12. It was also the first driver championship to be won using a turbocharged engine. The M12 is a 1.5 liter 4-valve cylinder dual cam turbocharged inline-four. It makes around 1500 horsepower on 80 psi. That's crazy. It can rev all the way up to 11,500 RPM. That engine is making 1000 horsepower per liter. It's really crazy. It features Bosch electric fuel injection and timing gears, so next time when you see a BMW 2002, just remember the engine block from that car can handle 1500 horsepower and won the Formula 1 Driver Championship back in the 80s. This is it for the today video. Thank you for watching.